everyone. You have to excuse the noise in the background, some diggers working over there. But we've come this morning on a sub-zero, very foggy sort of January morning up to Annesley Old Church, which, if I just spin you around, as you can see, is basically just ruins now. But with the fog we might be able to get some interesting shots, so we're going to see what we can find, so come and have a look. And typically what normally happens is you come out, thick fog all the way. When you get here there's actually not as much fog as it first looked like, but if I just spin you around you'll see the distance. There's quite a lot of fog. I mean, if I just tilt you up, you can just see the little servants' quarters from Annesley Old Hall there, just about visible through the background. But there's very little actually sort of locally to actually give you any separation on the church. It's a bit of a shame, but you know, I've got to get a few shots. I've got to try some black and whites with these, I think, as well. Try and sort of really bring the mood out, a bit of a gothic feel to it. But pop a few shots up now, let me know what you think in the comments. Because it's really cold today, and the fact that the fog's not as thick as we first thought up here, I've been concentrating a bit on what's on the ground. Some lovely leaf fall, and because it's been a little bit damp, the frost has just frozen everything into place. Some lovely shots from the ground, so it's well worth actually looking down if you're in this sort of area. And what you initially went out for doesn't seem to be around, which is really quite handy, so you can just look down, something new. You've got a lovely bit of composition there. You can pick out some lovely shots, but pop a couple of the frosty ones up now for you so you can have a look. Now, right next to Annesley Old Church is Annesley Hall. There was a suspected arson fire in 2015, which basically left the entire site gutted, but the shell was actually fine. Now, what's been going on today, which is why you can hear quite a lot of machinery in the background, is they're doing some renovation work. They're actually putting the roof back on, so hopefully in not too long that'll actually be back in a nice condition. But one of the maybe interesting things about Annesley Hall is it's reputed to be one of the most haunted places in Britain. Now, if you're into that sort of thing, you know, it's worth looking up. But I can say it's certainly got its reputation, so well worth having a look if you're into that sort of thing. And also, there's not a great deal that we've found here at the church, other than the fact that it's very cold, very icy. I've nearly just fallen over. But there's some really nice little features actually within the church itself. I mean, if I just spin you around, you should be able to just see what would have been quite a large stained glass window. Now, that's actually been transferred out of here when the church has sort of came to the end of its life and burned down. That was transferred to a church in Newark, so that still lives on, which is quite nice. Now, main reason for coming up here is we actually watched another channel, Trek and Exploration UK, and Ant took a visit up here a few weeks back, and just saw it, I thought fantastic, be ideal in the foggy conditions. So I'll pop a link to his channel down below, so go and check him out. Got some great videos on there, some really interesting stuff that he goes and explores, so well worth a visit. Right, now in light of the frost being sort of alright, quite interesting, but not a lot of fog up this end, what we're going to do, we're going to wander over the road, over the A608, into A little bit of woodland there, which is known as Ice House Woods. We know for a fact there's actually an old ice house in there, so we'll go and have an explore, see if we can get some interesting shots. Obviously with the trees and the fog, it might come out nice, but let's have a look. So literally just over the road from the old Annesley Church, come straight over the 608, there's a little bit of a public footpath, and just to the side is the ice house. Now, this obviously would have been part of the old estate from Annesley Hall itself, but it's fairly accessible, but it's well and truly locked off. You can't get into there at all, for the best really for safety. But interesting bit of architecture around, but nice just to see it still preserved. So I've come over the A608 straight into Ice House Woods. Now some lovely scenes here. The thickness of the fog is actually quite pronounced as you're looking further ahead. So what we tend to find is you need to compress the scene, get the telephoto lens on, get above 70mm, and it gives you some really nice effects, so you can actually really get some nice separation. But the key with it is, don't look at like the full scene, look at little areas of the scene as well, so you can actually get some interest from just the patterns that the trees are making around each other, and the separation that you get from each of the branches as well. But I'll pop a couple of shots up now that I've taken, it'll give you some idea of what I mean. Sometimes the scenes are that good, you just get the whole tree in. This one behind me, absolutely glorious, it just works so well. Now usually, in the woodland, you don't tend to try and aim for the sky because it can overblow things, you lose separation and it ruins the scene. But in fog, it can really help because the depth that you can get from it really helps out, and you get some really nice effects, almost ethereal look to it. But I'll pop the shots up now, let me know what you think. Right, so I've come up with this shot. It's a little bit messy in the foreground, but the main feature I'm looking for is that tree in the background. Now the fog's starting to lift a little bit now, so we're sort of losing the time, but I think that'll work okay. I'll just show you the back of the camera. I'm up with the OM1 again today, but I've just got that to focus on the back screen for you, and just bring that to life. There we go, you can sort of see the composition that I've gone for. Now what I'm going to try and do is go for a square crop on that, I think, to actually lose some of this messy foreground. But I think it'll work quite well. Possibly I can convert that to black and white as well. But I'll put the shot up now, so let me know what you think in the comments. So we're on the way out of the woods, and one of the big things you do seem to forget, and really you should remember, is always look back as to where you've been, because you might see some different compositions that you didn't spot on the way past. Spotted this avenue of trees, which really works well. So I'm going to go for a shot, 5th of a second, f11 on there. ISO 200 is the base for the Olympus camera, and I'll pop the shot up now. Let me know what you think in the comments. Well, the fog's starting to lift now, so I'm going to call it a day. Go and get warm, grab a coffee. But if you've liked what you've seen, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel out and helps know what sort of things are actually being enjoyed. And if there's anything you'd like to see on the channel, please drop a comment down below. Always handy to know what sort of thing that people are looking for. Like I said, if there's anything that would be interesting for you, we'll sort of see what we can do and actually get out there and do some filming for you. Now there will be running some workshops through 2022, assuming that sort of COVID lets us. So there'll be some information coming up soon on that one. And we're also moving things around, so the van build and everything to do with that is now being moved onto its own channel. And I'll pop a link to that sort of up above here. And for those of you that aren't on sort of smartphones, etc., I'll pop a link in the description so you can pop along see that. So as things develop on there, that will actually appear on its own separate channel, so we're going to split it out. But as always, thanks for watching though, and we'll see you again on the next one.